All right, we are going live today. Hello. My name is Dr. Pauline Belton, and this is Thoughtful Thursdays because mental health is living. And yes, I am here because I love any and everything mental health. We need healing, we need preparation for what that actually looks like, feels like, and is. And so we're going to do that today. Let me see if I can get us on. Hi, I'm here. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Thank you. If you know someone that needs to be in this room, come on, pull up a chair. Let us know, in the chat who you are and, you know, thank you for showing up. Today, we're going to talk about the invisible load. I have lots of notes here because I want to get everything in when it comes to you. What does that look like? What does that mean? The invisible load. And so we're going to talk about, not only the heaviness and the stress of work, but what about the heaviness and the stress of home, of being you, right? And we have some pillars that we need to think about. That in turn means what? And you can write it in the chat. That means that we are talking about self awareness. And in the heart framework, we talk about harnessing that self awareness because you can't regulate what you don't know, what you don't acknowledge, what you don't recognize. And so I'm glad that you made it here. I'm glad that you're tuning in. And I want you to share this with everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the signature stress load. What does that look like? What is that? And so we're going to open up with a check in. This check in is going to do a couple of things for us, right? We're going, I want you to come on, have a seat, pull up a chair because this is the place that you need to be. And this is the place that is you're going to revisit every single Thursday. Yes, I can feel it even now. Okay. Here's what this means. This means that every Thursday, we're going to take one true thing about working and living under pressure, and we're going to turn it into one thoughtful move that you can make today and every day thereafter. Let me go ahead. This is real time because so you're going to hear my fan, of course. I'm going to take it down because I want to hear you. What are we talking about today? I want you to do the real thing of naming it. When we talk about an invisible load, what does that mean? And so let me describe something for you. Sometimes people see the results of us and not necessarily the process. And that means that on any given day, your family, your coworkers, your friends, they will be able to see, oh, you showed up and everything that you do is easy. But nothing you do, or most things that you do that are great, it's not easy. It's a process that comes with that. And because of that process, they believe that you don't need help. They may believe that you don't need what they believe you need or what you believe you need. And you need to make sure that sometimes you have to speak up when it comes to that invisible load that you carry. A lot of times when we talk about the invisible load, it is everything that it takes for you to show up, for you to be who you are. But also, I tell people a lot of times, sometimes I exhaust me showing up trying to be me. Why? Because I anticipate, I overthink, I have anxious thoughts. Just before coming on, I, for some reason, kept seeing clients up until then. and it may be too much. So not only do we carry an invisible load, sometimes we also need to recognize what load is it that we're carrying that we need to be extremely cognizant of. We need to really think about it, right? And so let me go to our segment for today. So we're going to talk in terms of naming it the real thing. The weight that I call the invisible load is everything that you're managing that never shows up on a task list, on the menu, or even on your calendar. So, what does that actually need? How do we actually need to actually deal with that? And that means that we may need to be able to put a system, a structure around that. Okay. And this is where we go to the heart of it, right? And literally, because everything that we do um, on this show is about the heart framework, but it's also about navigating stress, anxiety, and burnout. And you're going to walk away with a tip every time. Okay. So let's think about the stress, that stress has a fingerprint. And because stress has a fingerprint, stress also allows you to have an alarm system. That alarm system lets you know that, hey, tap, tap, something does not feel right, something is not right. And so, what do I do with it? And so, there are three breaks that you have when it comes to the stress signature. And the first is the load. You have to be aware and feel that load. The load means that's the stress, that's the feeling of too much is going on, too much is on my shoulders. My task list is too long, and I have not asked for the proper resources. The second um, component to the signature is the spin. And the spin is what happens here in your mind. What happens in your mind is that anxiety brain, that brain that is, did I get it right? Did I do this right? What else should I be doing? It just won't stop. It keeps replaying those things that you thought you woulda, shoulda, or could have done, right? It keeps replaying that meeting that you have at 8 a.m. or that you need to be at practice with the boys at 6 p.m. And you have all of these things in between, right? That is your stress signature. Being able to figure out the load, what you carry, and the spin, what keeps replaying in your mind. And the third part is the empty. And that's where it gets real. That's the depletion part, the running on films, that fumes, the I have nothing left to give. You get that decision fatigue, you get the avoidance that you just cannot keep doing what you have been doing. And because of that, you need help. You need to figure out what is it that I actually need to do. So, why does this matter? This matters because the invisible load for most of us we never connect the dots. We never figure out that spin at midnight, I just need more sleep. No, you don't need more sleep. You need to calm this down, right? We feel the empty on Sunday night when we think, I just don't I just don't like my job. I don't want to go to work. And so you spin yourself out of control because that's what you think about. And then the empty is, I can't do it. You can't muster up the motivation. You can't muster up the thing you need to deal with the kids, to deal with the partner, sometimes to deal with you. It just gets to be way too much, right? And so I want you to hear me on this. Naming your load is not complaining. Naming it is your leadership signature. It is your leadership power, right? When you say, this is the load that I'm carrying for me, and it shows up on my shoulders, in my chest. It shows up when you just turned a fog into a forecast. Too much going on, slow it down and make sure you can name it. Okay. And once you name it, you feel so much better because it's not invisible to you. You know what it is, right? It might be that email. It might be the fact that, it's about to be a holiday weekend and everybody and their mama, sister, brother, grandma wants to come over to your house and you just want to have a no weekend, no contact weekend, right? You want to rest because it's been a heck of a week, a heck of a few weeks. Okay. And so the next thing is that, it's harmless to be self aware, but please understand when you're being self aware and you're trying to really learn who you are and why you feel certain ways, it's not about judgment. Do not judge yourself. Have some grace in this area. I call it being curious. Curious about, why do I feel like this? Why is this happening to me? Reading your own signals as if you are the leader of you. You are the architect of you. And so you need to know why you feel a certain way, you know and what does that look like, what does that sound like, and what does that actually feel like, so that once you name it you can tame it. And so that is the act of. And so when we move into the act of, this is the part that of the show where I show you where we don't just understand something, we do something with it. Okay. And so this is the Thoughtful Thursday move. And Thoughtful Thursday, our action day, this is where we get to think about, what is that thing we need to do? What did she say? Well, today we're going to name your invisible load out loud to to one trusted person. Okay. And so my invisible load today is that I said too many yeses and not enough nos. I know that because of my calendar, because of the time management that went on throughout the day, right? And it feels heavy. I can feel it in my shoulders. I can feel it in the back of my neck. And because I am an acute asthmatic, I have to be careful because I feel it in my chest, because that is one of the sensitive organs that I have, or my airways. So I have to be careful about how I do that. So what do? I want us to do step one. I want us to get specific. Don't just say I'm stressed. Okay, don't just say I'm stressed. Don't just say, I'm annoyed. I want you to say the actual thing. I'm carrying the emotional weight of the whole team, and nobody knows it. I am holding the the entire process of how our family is moving, and the kids are ungrateful, and the partner is just oblivious, because everything runs in tandem. Okay. And that's a heaviness that your partner, your children, your co-workers, your supervisors, you may not always catch when you need to. Okay. So here's the second step that we need to do. You need to choose one person. Not everybody has to earn or hear your full story, nor should they. You need to have one trusted person that you can go to, whether it is a partner, a peer, a supervisor, someone that is going to truly listen to understand and not necessarily listen to fix it. And that's what you may need to make clear. I don't need you to fix it. I need you to just hear me so that I can begin to name specifically what my invisible load is doing to me and where. Okay. And then step 3, say it as a sentence. And that sentence starts like this: I've been carrying this load. I've been carrying this stress. I've been carrying this resentment. I've been carrying this, and whatever it is for you. And I haven't said it out loud until now. So I want you to be able to feel that right now, because that can hold some weight, right? Just being able to say it out loud. And when you do that, just take a deep breath and kind of allow yourself to feel what it is you're feeling. It's okay. Because sometimes you might not have a trusted person that you are able to say this to. Go grab a journal, or grab your favorite pen, and then you simply write, I've been carrying, and you fill in the blank, and I haven't said it out loud until now. That helps you feel the difference and shift the weight. Okay? So I share with you my load today, and that bears weight on me. So your move this week is for you to name one load. What stresses you? Name one spin. What is happening here when you can feel that load? What's the spin? What's the mind doing? Okay. And then the empty. Do you have anything left? Can you rejuvenate anything? What does that look like, sound like, and feel like for you? I need you to be able to practice this, because here's where I want you to pull up a chair, right? This is my favorite part. Because this is a conversation, not a lecture, I want I want to hear from you. I want you to drop into the comment, what's one piece of your invisible load you've never named out loud. If you're comfortable, put that in. If you aren't, say it out loud to yourself or begin to write it down. I want you to take a journal and actually physically write it, because it holds space for you. Your phone can be a distraction in its own right. But when you're able to physically sit down, write in a journal, I know you feel like, I don't have time. I don't have time to do all of this. You need to make time for you, because this invisible load will turn into that empty, and that empty will turn into, dare I say, a breakdown, a miscommunication in relationships, a misunderstanding of who you truly are, because they see the beast instead of the beauty. These are real things that if you aren't careful, and you've probably already made some of these signature, um, I guess, looks for people where they see you coming and they are automatically saying, oh, well, that's just who they are. And it's not who you want to be, it's not who you truly are. You're just frustrated, you're stressed, your anxiety level is high, and you just feel as if, you know, no one understands. I understand. And so I want you to be equipped with the right tools. We talked about the load. That's the stress that you carry, the weight that you feel. We talked about the spin. That's what happens in the mind. We're overthinking. We got too many things that are in play, right? And we replay it and we replay it, but we also, burden ourselves, stress ourselves out even more. And then we talk about the empty. The empty is the burnout. That's the part where you're like, oh my gosh, I I want the mind is willing and the body is not, because it is empty. You've burnt it out, right? And if you're watching and all of this resonates with you, come on back next Thursday. You know, we're going to spend some time really mastering life's skills, that emotional intelligence that we need to delve into, that rise in ourselves because we want to be the best version of ourselves. And sometimes it feels as if I just don't have time for it. I can't. We will be live streaming. We will go live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube for Thoughtful Thursdays with Dr. Pauline Belton. And this is where mental health is living. It is you really stepping into the fullness of you, mind, heart, and body. Because a lot of the things that we go through life is not foreign to us. It's just that we may not have the words to put to it. We may not have the strategy or the structure. And so that's what I want to bring to you. So, hey, if you haven't, subscribe, like, and by all means, if you find this resonates with you, share it with someone. Share it with someone that you know also struggles, or you may not even know it, but you say, you know what? Hey, I've experienced Dr. Pauline Belton, your therapy doctor, and she has some things that will help you grow. And then you share it with someone, you know, or hey, have them pull up a chair and you both have a seat and let's get to it, right? So I want to share something before I go. And what's that? Let me get my glasses, because come on. I want to leave you with one question to carry into your weekend. Yes, it's a holiday weekend. And this is the weekend where people can stress you out. People think that our stressors are only things. They're not. Yes, I said it. People can be stressors, whether it is a family, whether it is coworkers, whether it is, children, whether it is yourself. I stress me out. I'm a whole experience by myself. And sometimes when I say more yeses than I do nos, then my family does not get the authenticity of who I am, because I am exhausted, right? And so I wanted you to carry this question: what have I been carrying that I have never named? And I want you to sit with it. Let the answer come gently. Let it come gently. What have I been carrying that I have never named? This might be a question that, if you're in a relationship, that you may want to ask your person and then gently allow them to answer you, not in judgment, but just to understand them better. Everyone carries an invisible load, and sometimes they have no idea how to name it or what it even means. Today, you learn that it is actually the load, which is the stress. It is the spin, which is the overactive brain. And it is the empty, where I don't have anything to give. I don't have compassion. I don't have energy. I don't have motivation. Okay. So if today met you where you resonate with something real, then do me a favor. Follow so you never miss a thoughtful Thursday move or moment. And tag one person in your family, in your friend group, or in your workspace that this may resonate with them weekly. Everything we touched on today goes deeper and deeper into my book, Navigating Stress in the Workplace. Yes, it is workplace. People think workplace is just you going to your job. Let me explain to you this. Workplace is where you are and you are exerting energy. If you are a stay at home mom, dad, caregiver, if you are a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a friend, a coworker, a supervisor, guess what? Wherever you step, there's work to be done. That is your workplace. I know it's a little stretch, but think about it. It's not as far as a stretch as you think it is. Okay? Because sometimes being in your friend group is work. Sometimes that coworker who is just overly excited to see you and you just barely made it in, I need an hour, right? So next Thursday, we are going to talk about the code switch fatigue. Yes, this happens in work and it happens at home. The cost of constantly adjusting who you are to fit the room. And yes, no matter what you say or what people have said to you or think, you're always adjusting. And if you don't, you are adjusting anyway because you adjust the room or the room adjusts you. You need to understand how to regulate that within yourself so that it does not carry into all of the arenas of your life. Be good to you. You are the only person you will never be able to get rid of. So be gentle, love you. Most importantly, like you. Find out something fun about you each and every day. And it starts with you regulating yourself, elevating that emotional intelligence. Remember the load, the spin, the empty. Name it, claim it, and then tame it. My name is Dr. Pauline Belton. I am your therapy doctor, and mental health is living. So live good. You deserve it every single day. Talk soon.